Hello everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we are doing a walk and talk. I'm currently being chased by the pigs. You might notice it's a different environment. We'll have a little chat about that. But you would have probably seen on my dad's channel that these pigs were not very well. We'll get into that in a little bit more. I just need to change my battery because it's just died. Anyway, we're back now. I've got a full new battery. So yeah, as I said, they just chased me. They put a load of mud all over my leg. So here we have, I think this is Richard Ham here, and this is Warwick. They do like a good scratch actually, or good rub on the back of their necks. So the last video you would have seen was a while ago, when they were inside the what we call the barrow shed, which is also the heifer shed, and it's a bit dark in here. They were actually really ill, like not long after that video. So we had a vet come out and look at them, do some injections, some blood tests and stuff. There's actually nothing wrong with them. We think it might have been heat stroke because it was really hot when it was like over 30 degrees when this was happening, plus the fact that they were in a not very airy shed. So yeah, so we put them out here, which they're much better. They've got a nice big straw bed here. They've got the feed trough. They've still got a little bit of their dinner in here, but they're eating a lot more now. He's having a nice scratch on there. They've got all of this area out here just for these two piggies. There's loads of, you can see there, Warwick's having a nice root around over there. Richard Ham is trying to eat my shoe again. And then over here we've got, this is their water trough. It was cleaned out this afternoon, but you can see they've already got a bit of dirt in there. We've got a bucket over here, which is just used to take some out of the cow water trough. And then over here, as Richard Ham is taking us to his little favourite place, this is their little muddy hole where when it's really hot they quite like to relax in here. Sometimes we'll fill it up with water, as you can see just there, but yeah, and then they like to sleep in there and cool down when it's really hot, and root around, as you can see. This was all of this was like how it is over there, and over time they've just sort of rooted it up, and this is a really nice place for them to chillax, as you can see. Over there they have their toilet, as you can see. I won't show you that much, but yeah, Richard Ham's having fun. Warwick's over here, he's having a little bit of a root around, aren't you? Anyway, this was the really poorly one, and he's looking a lot better now. He was really pale, now he's got his colour back, and he's really thin as well, but now they're looking a lot better. He keeps smearing mud all over my legs. So yeah, loads of space, as you can see. Nice shed in here, feed trough to keep it dry. The shed is a bit knackered, I will admit, and everybody knows it. If these metal pillars weren't here, it should probably all be gone. Nice piece of air underneath that pillar there, isn't there? This bit was redone. I think it was in the 80s when it was redone. But this back wall is going over like that. And you can actually see where it's sort of pulled away from this wall. If we look along here, you can see it's on a slant. This wall is probably the worst one. Got these big cracks in here, but it is safe for now. Apart from that, it doesn't look very safe, but it is still standing, and it doesn't look like it's gonna go down anytime soon, so that's good. Hopefully we'll get some attention at some point, but it's good enough for these piggies. And the cows come out here anyway. But a little bit of history. This place used to be originally, and there goes Warwick. This yard and shed used to be originally the heifers, all like the heifers and bulling heifers, winter housing. So they had this shed in here was obviously their shed, and then this was a yard out here with a ring feeder like that, just like over there. That's why there's a gate there. That was always there. And it never really got used since they built what we call the barrier shed, which is the heifer shed, which was built in the 70s. So yeah, that's what this shed and yard used to be used for before it was just left. But it does get used by the cow. We have dry cows out here normally, and that's what it's mainly used for now. But this year it's being used by the piggies, which seem to be a lot happier and better now. He's eating. Warwick's got a bit of food there. The only problem with this place is it's quite loud, as you can hear. Pigs don't seem to mind too much though. But we're going to go over. We're going to have a look at the silage clamp, which has had second cut put in it, but it looks no different. Anyway, I'm going to go before these piggies try to eat my shoe again. He's actually eating my shoe. Anyway, we shall see them later on at a later date, swishing their tails. I'll go because they're going to try and eat my shoes again. They've already covered my legs in loads of mud, so we'll leave them for now. But I'll probably do a summer routine video, and you'll be able to see the pigs in that when it's time for their feeding. But we're going to head over to the silage clamp now and see what that's looking like. We've just come through the hay barn now, which is looking pretty empty. Just got this bare straw left, and that's it. As you know, it's rubbish here. We're going to be mowing over our little square bale hay, which goes those last two bays over there, that one and that one, on Thursday, I'm pretty sure it is. So this is basically the sort of newer. Well, we have two sort of heifer areas. This is one of them. This is the smaller one, which we use in the summer for dry cows. As you can see over there, there's not many of them, and they're still on silage because there isn't enough grass. They've got a new bale this morning, but yeah, this is the bulling heifers, really. Normally they're out here, but sometimes there is some in the other shed. But yeah, I won't show you that because you probably would have seen it already in my video. But yeah, this is the one. It's still going to be mucked out, which will happen soon. But we're going to head across to the silage pit. There's a knackered gate there from it's been pushed and broken. There's a nice front loader arrangement there. The neighbours at this moment are actually doing some silaging, which you might be able to see in a bit. There's the muck spreader tractor on the Marshall muck spreader. There's the McCormick. There's little viewers there. On our new quickie loader fork. Anyway, here we are in the silage clamp. Just put that down there. But this is, well, I don't know, it doesn't look much different, to be honest. The night before we did this, we had a slight altercation, and you'll see that in a second. We'll go along the road, or go along the field. But, well, we did our second cut on Friday, and off of 15 acres we had 3.5 loads of, I think they're 14 or 16 ton silage trailers. And to be honest, the clamp before all of this happened didn't really look much smaller than this, really. The line might have been just where that is, to be honest. And the silage didn't actually start. Where does it start? Silage didn't start till about here. So yeah, about that much more. Put a little bit more on the top. There's some markings up there you can make out. Those we put up there because we didn't uncover the whole clamp and we didn't want to push the silage all the way back. We wanted it to come out more at the front. So that's just so the buck rake man didn't go any further than that. But when we unveiled this sheet, well, we looked at it and realised how bad it was, because we've never done this before. Had to open it back up later on in the year. It was so mouldy. We had to spend like all morning. Luckily the contractors were late. We had to spend all morning with load of bucketfuls, taking load of bucketfuls off mould all across, right from that side all the way up that side, going all the way up to the top on both sides, right from the bottom. There's a good bit in the middle here, and then there was a good bit at the back, but right in the centre there was a really bad just band of mould. And to be honest, the amount that we took out is probably about a full 16-ton silage trailer worth is probably how much we took out. After we took out, there was a really big dent in the clamp of how much we'd really taken out, which didn't obviously help, because that's probably like, there's probably a good few weeks of cow feed that we had to take out. And actually we well, filling it back up made it we filled it back up, the area that we took it all out, but because we had to put so much grass back into there to make it all level everywhere else, there wasn't much left over to bring it forward. So that's why there's also not as far forward. I reckon if it was probably, if we didn't have any of that mould, I reckon we could have had the silage actually come out to probably where I'm standing now. So yeah, or a bit more like this really, but it could have come out a lot more, I reckon. And in total, I'm pretty sure I took out about, I think it was 4 or 5 muck spreader loads of mouldy silage. And that was full to the brim as well. So yeah, and that was yeah, so 4, I'm pretty sure it was 4 muck spreader loads full. This was full, obviously it's got some muck in it now, but this was from empty to full. We had 4 loads of that, and we had to go and spread that along on the muck pile. There's a bit of, some of it's just sat on top of there. There's a bit of muck mixed in with it, but yeah. So it was absolutely terrible, the amount that we had to take off. We've brought in a load of haylage bales, and so far silage bales that we've made our own, ourselves, we've only made 20 this whole year. Normally by now we've probably made over 120, I reckon, and we've brought in about another 120 as well, just to feed to the cows, because we're probably going to have to buy in more as well, because second cut didn't give us anything at all really. So yeah, well, we'll have to see what it's like, but Dad reckons this will probably, the amount that's in this clamp, if we just fed it to the cows like we normally do with the maize on top in the ring feeders, this would probably take us to about, well, the cows go out in about April. This will probably take us to about January or February time, probably. Coming about November, I think it is. He's about a bay a month, but you'll use this, even though it comes out a little bit more, they'll use this whole bay because it's not as tall. So that's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, so that's 4 months. So yeah, about February, about end of January, beginning of February, we'll probably run out of here. That's about a month and a half before the cows really go out, which is going to have to be fed on silage bales. But we're going to head along to the last bit, which is the worst bit, gets worse as we go on, unfortunately. Well, I don't know, this might be worse, but anyway, we're going to go along and, well, just walk along the field and go across the road and have a look at in the other field, which is my dad's field, which you would have seen probably on Facebook or YouTube. I don't know if it'll be on YouTube, Facebook and TikTok. We'll go have a look at that. Probably already know what it is, but we'll have a look at that and see what you think about it. So we're now over here. Need a haircut really bad. I wanted to get one, but I didn't get one. Anyway, so we had a bit of a disaster on Thursday night. It was, yeah. Can't say it just yet. It's been chain harrowed, so it doesn't look as bad anymore. But you look at the hedgerows and you see really what happened. But anyway, we had a big field fire, and I'll pan the camera around now. As I said, you can't really see it as well anymore. But you look in the hedgerow and you can see it actually. I mean, look at one of these fence posts. This isn't a bad one as well. I'll show you a really bad one later. That's been completely burnt off. So basically, fire started in that field. Someone lit a bonfire and basically all newspaper, and it basically blew over and caught. Well, their field went on fire first, so it's not just us that are in that have problem. But yeah, you can really see it went through, but it didn't go right into that field as well. That's a field that we just sort of someone just lets us put some cows on there, some dry cows, about 2 or 3. But yeah, look at the ground. You can really see it's gone right through really powerfully into that hedge. This is the good hedge as well. But look onto the field. Didn't look as bad anymore. I mean, the whole. I'll probably put a picture up maybe, but the whole field looked like this. The whole field was that colour all the way up there, up until that top point, which I'll show you in a bit. But yeah, so the field was actually getting pretty green. This is one that if you saw my TikTok, Harry the Legend 10, you would have seen I was moving bales off of here. I think it's on Dad's channel. But yeah, this is what the field was looking like. It was pretty green and regrowthed actually, and it all got burnt off. And the worst bit is over here is a big forest. Well, it's not big forest, it's little wood, I guess. Well, it's pretty big for us. Anyway, so yeah, there's lots of trees in there, different types, and there's quite a lot of dead trees in there as well. But coming down here, this is how close it got to first tree. There's the first 2 trees, and here's the flames. And I was actually here when the people were just putting it out, and they had to pass it out with shovels. And yeah, the flames was just going up there, and look how close it was. Probably about 1 metre away from the first tree. If that went up, then, well, I'm surprised it didn't catch on to these low branches, but if that went up, this whole wood would have gone up, and all of that hedgerow down the bottom, it would have been so bad if that went all up. But luckily we managed to stop that just before. But anyway, you can see how green it was before the fire, just like that. And yeah, now it didn't look as bad because it's been chain harrowed, but it's not. I don't think we're gonna plough it up and reseed it. We're gonna wait till the autumn, because anyway now it's not the right time to plough and reseed anyway. It won't come through, especially in this weather. But we're gonna wait till the autumn and see if this will regrow. It's probably about at least 3/4. It's probably about 2/3 of the whole field. Bit buggered then. And this is. It's not gone right through. As you can see, it's still. I mean, it does all sort of come off after, but this is after it's been chain harrowed, you know, and it's come back a bit, but definitely not what it needs to be. And we can just sort of look up there and really see how bad it is. And there's, like I said, that's what it would have been like. And here is the bad hedge. This is what went up first, then went onto our field. And that's where they managed to stop it. The firefighters managed to stop. There was actually 5 fire engines in the 3 fields in total. There was 1 in there, I think there was 2 in here, and I think another 2 in that top field there where it was about to start. Yeah, this is all going to need to be re-fenced, and I think they're going to do the wiring again. It didn't look bad, but they think that because it was all, you know, all smoked out, I guess, they think it's just going to go rusty, so they're going to redo the fencing as well. But most likely now this hedge is really going to come back. I mean, look at, I don't know if you can see very well, that's really scorched there. So yeah, I mean, it might come back, but it's very unlikely probably. It looks worse on this side than the other side. But yeah, I mean, look at these posts here. You can see right underneath them. And they just get worse as you go. I mean, here's a post here. There's the remains of a post. That would have been a wooden post going down there. These trees were on fire, as you can see. The worst trees, we're going to get to that in a sec, which we'll have a look at. But yeah, these fence posts are all very knackered. There should be one just there. There's the base of it. I'm not sure how much battery I've got left on this, so I might have to switch off and change again. But yeah, the worst fence post is coming up. I don't know how this one here is still going. That makes no sense to me. But yeah, there's another really bad one. And here I think is the worst one. There's a bit of the fence post, and there's the other bit of the fence post, and that's all that remains of that. Not even any sight of any stump in the ground really. Well, that might be it just there, but I think that's it. And here's the worst tree. As you can see, it was a wise tree, and that's all been burnt all the way up. I'm surprised it's still standing there. It's going to have to be cut down though. And it was a nice big tree actually. All of this hedge has been wiped out, but I think it was mainly brambles, that's why it's all gone. This tree caught as well. And there's another fence post there, you can see. Yeah, and then here was the big one, which was probably the, well, second worst after that one down there, but this was what caught it on fire, I'm pretty sure. And you look at all of that up there. They managed to stop it just in time, but yeah, not good. Anyway, it keeps going up here. As you can see, this is all going to need to be probably taken out and replanted. Hopefully it will regrow, but we don't know. This holly tree over here caught on fire as well, which isn't great. And this is where it sort of stops on the hedge. Well, it's still burning on the base of the still got burnt on the base of the fences, but yeah, here's where it really stopped, over here. But this is where the actual fire stopped. And this is where when my brother and my dad, they came up here with some shovels, and they actually pat the fire out all the way along there. I'm just going to have to switch my battery over again, it's about to die. Anyway, sorry about that, I keep having to switch over my batteries. Hopefully this is the last time. But yeah, they were patting it out, I think from about that tree over there, on that tree, like, they were patting that out, and by the time they managed to stop it, it was all the way down here, and very close to this clump of trees as well. But yeah, you can see how green it was under here. This was obviously because it's got all the shade. These batteries are not lasting very long. Hopefully I can finish this video. Anyway, there was actually 3 dry cows in here as well. And they weren't too bothered, luckily. And they just sort of walked up the top there. But when it started, no, when I got here, they all just stood at the top. They were still grazing actually. They were still pretty happy. But we had to get this fire out. I mean, we could have took them up the top. There's a gateway up there, but that would mean we'd have to run them all the way along the road, and then down through the centre of the village, and then, or down through a different field, and then out along that road, which would have been a real nightmare. So we had fire engines putting all of this out, and then we actually had to get the cows, which were from up here. We had to walk them down through all of this. Well, it wasn't so hot by the time we managed to get them moving, which was lucky, but still it must have been very frightening, all the smoke, all the high-vis jackets, all the fire engines, the sirens, all the noise and everything. So yeah, so we had to basically run them down where I'm walking now, and then we had to go through that gate down there, which I showed you, cross them along the road, and then we just put them in with the dairy cows for the evening and separate them out in the morning. But that hedge is pretty bad as well, but I won't show that. It's pretty similar to the other one. It's not as bad as the other one, obviously, but you can see it's all burnt at the bottom. Some of it will probably survive, but I reckon about 50% of the hedge along here will probably go, unfortunately. But so yeah, that was our exciting Thursday evening that we all had. There was 5 fire engines in total, as I said. There was actually I think it was National Grid came out. They had, when there was a generator, there was a small diesel spill, which they came out to sort out, and they actually were here at the same time as the fire engines, and they were the ones that patted out that fire down there just before it got to the trees. Luckily they were there as they were sorting out that diesel spill. But yeah, you can see along here, and you can have a look through here, I think, just about. You can sort of see where it goes through. Not very well, but you can just about make out, almost gets to that tree. And then it would have been all in there, and that would have been even worse. We haven't really had any rain since, which isn't great, because if we had some rain then it would really help out. But every now and again we're getting like 2 seconds of drizzle, and that's the most we've had. So yeah, but it might rain tomorrow morning, which will be hopeful. Hopefully will happen. God knows if it will though. But anyway, I might try and put in some pictures at the end here of what it was like when it was going. Obviously it didn't look too bad anymore, but yeah, we'll have a look at that. But that's the end of today's video. I don't know how long, it's probably quite a long video, but that's it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notifications of my videos on Tuesdays, and go check out my TikToker, Harry the Legend 10. That's it for today's video. As I said, like and subscribe. Until next time, bye for now.